Imagine hanging 300 feet in the air, with nothing between you and death but a single rope. This is Helmken Falls, the most insane ice cave on Earth, a place that does not want you here. For years, this one route haunted me, a line called Mission to Mars. This isn't solid blue ice. It's spray ice, brittle, alive, and constantly threatening to break. My partner Ben and I knew the stats. Pillars the size of buses fall here without warning. Helmken doesn't care who you are. It only asks one question: did you misjudge it today? Below us was the cauldron of doom, a churning pit where anything that falls is gone forever. And yet, we left solid ground anyway. This is how the world's deadliest ice climb nearly killed me. The approach feels like walking into a crime scene, broken ice everywhere, like nature's warning signs. Some of these blocks are as big as cars. Every one of them used to be hanging above someone's head. Then you hear it this low, constant roar before you ever see the cave. The air hits you like a freezing wall. Every breath is mist. Every surface is coated in ice. Look up and you see why climbers call this place a war zone. Everything above you is an overhead hazard. We weren't here to play it safe. We circled the King Line, Mission to Mars. Every piece of gear has a job. Failures here aren't inconvenient, they're final. We knew the odds and we started anyway, because some mountains don't leave your mind until you try. We triple-checked everything: harness, knots, screws, because here mistakes are permanent. The cold attacks your fingers first. You lose feeling, then you lose control. I've always said, if something can go wrong, pretend it already has and prepare for that. These screws aren't protection. They're permission from the mountain to survive one more move. Words don't carry well here. Fear does, respect does. If stories of real survival and raw risk fascinate you, hit subscribe. This is where we live. The first swing tells you everything. Today the ice felt hollow, nervous. As I left the ground, I had no idea that by mid-route I'd be fighting just to stay alive. Stick with me. Mission to Mars is so steep you feel like you're climbing sideways more than up. Every move is a pull-up, hundreds of them. No ledges, no rests, just air below. My feet were more suggestion than support. Most of the time, they just swung over the abyss. One glance down, and you remember exactly what failure means here. I put in screws where I could, but in spray ice, protection is more psychological than real. Ben watched every move. If I fell, he'd be the last person to see me alive. My lungs burned with cold. My arms were already pumped, and we were only just getting started. If you're still here watching, you're one of us, the ones drawn to the edge. Join the channel and let's keep going. Even the gear started to complain. Every turn of the screw felt like it might split the whole wall. I'd swing, and instead of solid ice, my tools landed in something that felt like packed snow. Then the mountain threw us a preview, small chunks first, like test shots. Ben kept doing what we call the Helmken head fake, always looking up, waiting for the real hit. Above us, tons of ice hung by nothing more than hope, gravity, and yesterday's temperature. My hands started to shake, not just from cold, but from the quiet knowledge that we were overdue. We were moving into the steepest section, the point of no return on mission to Mars. I heard the warnings, I saw the signs, and I still chose one more move upward. I reached up, planted my tool, and for a second everything felt okay. Then a sound sharp and violent, like a gunshot echoing through the entire cave. A bus-sized pillar ripped free from the ceiling, tearing away like a building collapsing in midair. It didn't have to hit us. The shockwave alone ripped through the wall like an earthquake. In a blink, the ice around my tool turned to dust. One moment I was secure, the next, I had nothing. My stomach went weightless, the wall disappeared, I was just falling. The rope caught with a brutal jerk, all that force slamming straight into my spine and shoulder. I hit the wall, bounced, and then I was just hanging there, a tiny, broken shape over a boiling pit of ice. The mist parted for a second, just long enough to show me where I'd die if anything else failed. My body went full animal, every muscle locked, lungs refusing to work, brain screaming one word, no. I was hanging in space, feet touching nothing, the wall just far enough away to be untouchable. I tried to answer Ben when he yelled, but all that came out of me was this broken, panicked gasp. I looked up at the anchor. The ice around it was fractured, like a spider web made of glass. Every tiny shift I made sent a shiver up the rope. I couldn't stop thinking. One more shake and it all rips out. Thoughts spiraled. You're done, the rope will cut, the anchor will fail. This is where you freeze to death. Then one clear thought cut through the noise. Move. Do something. Don't just hang here and wait to die. I started to swing, trying to turn sheer terror into just enough motion to reach the wall.
Your eyes snap open with a sudden clarity.
My first try failed.
Stare at the wall.
My feet skittered
renewed
across
focus.
the ice like they were on glass. Pain ripped through my shoulder every time I moved, but staying still wasn't an option anymore.
Your eyes close.
On the next swing, my right crampon bit into something barely, but this time it held. I drove my good arm up, sunk the tool, and just hung on it, praying the ice wouldn't explode again. It took everything I had to reel myself back in, inch by inch, like my life was on a rusted winch. Once I had two good tools in, the panic dialed back just enough for my brain to start working again. If you're still watching this, you understand why we share these stories. Hit subscribe and stay on this edge with us. When I finally reached Ben, my legs gave out. I just sagged into the ice, completely drained. There was no debate, no ego. One look between us and we both knew we were done. Survival became the only summit. Every new anchor had to be perfect, or the story ended right there. The rappel felt worse than the climb. Now we had to trust this shattered cave a second time. On the way down, we passed the scars, fresh wounds, where the pillar had smashed the wall to pieces. We moved like insects under a collapsing ceiling, just trying to reach flat ground before anything else fell. When my boots finally hit solid ground, I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt allowed to leave. We didn't look back right away. Some places you only turn around to face once you're safely far away. People always ask, why go back to places that are actively trying to kill you? The truth is, that day at Helmkin stripped me down to who I really was when everything went wrong. It taught me that your real limits aren't in your muscles. They're in the quiet corners of your mind. You don't conquer places like this. You negotiate a brief truce with them and hope they let you walk away. I survived the world's deadliest ice climb, but I left a part of myself in that cave, frozen in the mist. And in exchange, I brought back something new, a deeper respect for just how thin that survival line really is. If stories like this pull you in, join our community here. We live on that thin line, one story at a time. Hit subscribe, watch the next survival story, and tell me in the comments, what's the wildest place you've ever faced?